Tutus, a whole heap of machetes.
Oh, okay.
So what they were doing was they were going in there collecting body parts for their science projects.
Okay.
So it didn't look like nothing, because when you know, if you just walk on the street and just see people just cut up, it looked like, well, you know, there's a war going on, but there was a serious scientific, you know what I mean, they know what they was doing in there. So they just took the guns away from the Tutsis, took it away from the Hutus, and then just feed them machetes so that them, you know what I mean, so they would just chop, you know what I mean, they was in there, they was getting body parts left, right and centre. You know, they were just all over the, you know what I mean, they knew what they were doing. That was the French and all that lot, we all hired that, you know what I mean. You know, and then you watch the movie, you see the white man's always playing he's always there, the hero, you know what I'm saying? He's all the one bailing them out, kind of thing.
I mean, it's no different from army stuff.
Exactly. You know, so it's going on, it's happening in Congo now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
there was on News 24.
Yeah.
Some diamond company went into Congo.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And they admitted that they were giving the rebels money to go and kill.
That's right. Oh yeah. Yeah, the other people. Yeah, that's yeah. It's all funded.
Yeah,
it's all funded. All funded. They're just playing the game. They're all playing the game. There's not one country on the continent right now that is doing something that they should be doing. They're all playing the game. They're all dancing to the tune of this quote unquote beast or Illuminati, whatever one wants to refer to it as. You know. Are we ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay, ready to go. So
say in the first place, in esoteric parlance, we don't sit like a classroom. We sit in a semicircle or in a circle.
Right. So
we are all students, nobody is a master.
Okay, that's right.
So you push your chairs over here, like that, and you make it in a semicircle sort of way.
Okay, so do you wanna have it like that? Because okay.
Goes like this. So you go like this. And then
it might be a bit difficult because when people want to enter.
No, there'll be still be space.
Okay, alright, then, alright. I hear what you're saying.
We just pick you back to the safe side and let the brothers do the work.
Okay.
Oh, Mark is right next to me.
No, this way. Gonna pour the libation. Like I said, the libation is to get the energies of within and all around us, spirits of the ancestors, to align them up, so everything's going according to plan. So we can start raising the energies within us and all around us, the Kundalini energy. This evening I'm going to be speaking on the Orishan sexual energy, and we have an elder here. Elder Ayibo. Yeboah. Okay. Why does I say Yeboah?
Because
it sounds similar. Yeboah. Brother Elder Yeboah is going to be talking on the Golden Dawn, lecturing and breaking down what the Golden Dawn is about, and the occult sciences, what it's about, where it's about, if Kabbalah. He's going to also be touching on Kabbalah stuff, the occult basically. He's going to be touching on things that he can touch on. So after he finishes, if any of you guys want to obviously ask questions, go right ahead. But let the lecture finish, and then if any of you guys want to, you know, if you've got anything to ask when he's saying his things or when I'm doing it, just write it down, and then after you're free to ask the questions. Okay, so let's go and align the energies. While I'm doing the quote-unquote prayer, I just wanted to say what I'm going to be saying. Basically I'm going to be calling, because I'm going to be doing it in Yoruba. I'm going to be calling the energies within and around us, asking them for their blessings and guidance, the light energy codes to be coming within. So those are the things I'm going to be saying. After I've done, then we're going to be calling on the ancestors also. So anybody who wishes, if you have a grandparent, parent, could be any, you know, anybody close to your friend, family, doesn't, you know, call out their name, someone who maybe you look up to, who's been great to you, who's passed on, who's on the ancestral realm, feel free to call. In the meantime, I shall be calling on the energies. Báwa jókòó kó lè fẹ́yìn wà pẹ̀lú wa, kágbára wà pẹ̀lú wa, kẹ́ṣọ́ wa lọ kẹ́ṣọ́ wa bọ̀, kó lè fẹ́yìn wà pẹ̀lú wa, má bínú sí wa, má kẹ́yìn sí wa, kó lè fẹ́yìn wà pẹ̀lú wa nígbàkigbà nígbà gbogbo, má jẹ́ ká dèrò ọlọ́pàá, má jẹ́ ká dèrò ṣòro, má jẹ́ ká ṣílẹ̀ tẹ̀. Kórè ìfẹ́ yín wà pẹ̀lú wa, kágbára iná wà pẹ̀lú wa, ìdúná káyé, onílẹ̀ kàngàn di ọ̀run onílànà ọ̀la o, bàbá ìlànà fún wa o. Kórè ìfẹ́ yín wà pẹ̀lú wa, kágbára wà pẹ̀lú wa. Gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tó wà níbà nírọ̀lẹ́ yìí kẹ́ ṣọ́ wọn lọ kẹ́ ṣọ́ wọn bọ̀, kán lọ rí kán bọ́ rí, kán má dèrò ọlọ́pàá, kán má ṣìṣe, kán má tọrọ jẹ. Kórè ìfẹ́ yín wà pẹ̀lú wa, kán ṣoríire, kán lọ rí kán bọ́ rí, kán kéré oko délé. Kórè ìfẹ́ yín wà pẹ̀lú wa, kágbára yín wà pẹ̀lú wa nígbàkúgbà nígbà gbogbo. Àṣẹ, àṣẹ, àṣẹ. Now, we're going to be calling on the ancestors. So if anyone has people close to you, you can start calling out the names. And as you're calling them out, also you're saying Ashe. So let's go. Anyone?
Tony Clark.
Ashe. Alicia Josie. Ashe.
Ashe.
Furulu. Ashe. Victor Gunde. Ashe. Josie family. Ashe. Great Marcus Garvey. Ashe. Charles Sally. Ashe. Come on, start calling them out.
Dennis
Come on, all our ancestors. Come
Dennis
on.
Elamina Davis.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Steve Biko.
Ashe. Joseph
Start calling them
Louis.
out. Ashe.
Ashe.
Come on.
Marshall John Lewis.
Ashe.
Ashe.
We're going to be touching on the Orushas and the energies. Everyone was here last time, innit? Well,
Yeah.
my sister wasn't here. But we're all familiar with the Orishas. Like I said, they are the deities. Like I said, I keep telling people, well, not just me, a lot of people who are in the esoteric information and teachings, these are not stories to be taken literal. These are energies, natural energies that are within us, and universal also. We are a mini of the universe. We are the same. You understand what I'm trying to say? If you want to study the universe, you study yourself, you see that it's all the same. You see the same patterns. Same way the solar system has suns, we also have suns within us. Suns explode within the universe. We also, you know, have sun cells that explode within us also. Different consciousness which explode within us. Billions. And it goes on, so on and so forth. So we're the same replica as what the universe is. And it's funny because when you go into your, people who come from a Christian background, when you go into the, even though the Bible's it's an esoteric book, it's a metaphysical book, but a lot of people who read it, funny enough, don't know that. But you go into the stories of the 12 tribes of Judah and the 12 apostles, and you see all these numbers popping up, and you start aligning them with the organs in the body, and you see that, you know, what they're talking about is basically, it's a breakdown of the human body, you know. The 12 apostles or the 12 tribes of Judah just symbolize the 12 hemispheres in the brain, the 12 centers. You understand? And then you've got obviously the cave of Brahma, the pineal gland, which is, you know, the Christ figure in the middle. You understand? If you where Jesus was also crucified in the Bible, they say he was crucified on Calvary. And Calvary just means the skull, which is the head. So it tells you there that, you know, it's dealing with obviously with the human body, and that's what things that we're going to be touching on this evening. So we're going to be touching on these orishas. We have the 7 major orishas, which symbolize the 7 chakras. They rule 7 chakra areas within the body. So being that we're dealing with sexual energies, like the deity Oshun, for instance, deals with seductive energy, fertility, which is something that obviously we use when we are going through sex. A lot of people just think, you know, what's sex? You know, it's to have children, and that's it. But it's not. Sex is actually the most powerful force in the universe, and it can be utilized through gaining things, through bending light code energies. You know, for explosion of a consciousness. If you want to achieve certain things in life, you can do it through sex. That's what all the sex rituals are about. You know, if you go amongst the, as you all know about the Hindus, if you go amongst the Kama Sutra, you see them, the sexual positions. You know, they have all these sexual positions. What these sexual positions represent, they represent different consciousness. Because when a male and female are having sex, the different positions open up certain energy centers within, which allow you to do certain things. But, you know, because of our ignorance today, we think all these sexual positions are just for enjoyment and you know and whatnot. So we're going to be touching on this, especially with the men. A lot of you men who like to lose the life force. I don't know how to replenish it. You know, it's okay. Sex is one thing, ejaculation is another. See, this is where we get a lot of people mix the, you know, they think that, well, if I have sex 10 times, I must ejaculate 10 times. No. It's okay, you can make love every day if you want. You make love 7 times a day. But you've got to know how to control the ejaculation. And there's a reason why you should be ejaculating. Because when you're ejaculating information and life force is in it. And that's why most men, after they're shot, what's the first thing they do? They roll over and go sleep. Because it's knocked the energy out of them. A lot of them don't like to admit it, like say, tongue parit long and I was on there 8 hours and whatever hours and you know, yeah, you were on there until you shot your load, yeah. Then it was all over, you know, and that's what it's about, because it's about the life force, retaining the life force. There's certain exercises what I'll be talking about later on that the males can do where you can reverse the semen back into yourself. So you can be having sex as usual and you could be ejaculating, but you're ejaculated inwards. So the life force still stays in. You know, you understand what I'm trying to say? For the woman, it's not so bad because the man ejaculates into the woman and she feels energized because it's the life force, so it's useful for her. She doesn't feel as knackered. That's why after the sex, he seems to be more knackered than her. You know, and that's what these sexual positions are. There's certain positions where you can put your woman into where she's the one who feels knackered and you're the one who's, you know, you can go and flex your muscles and say, you know, I'm the daddy here. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's all about those certain sciences. So, with the woman, the female, because everything around us is female energy. Everything you see here is female energy. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar. You're familiar with Phil Valentine, and he breaks down a lot about the female energy. This whole universe is female. The energy behind it that produces the elements for it to manifest is male. So that's how you see them go hand in hand. But everything else is female. The things that we see around us is female. So the female energy actually is the power. So when we want to have sex with our sisters and whatnot, we have to be careful what it is that we're doing when we go in there, because we're messing with very powerful energy, and we can obtain certain things. You know, it's not just about just, you know, climbing on top of her and pumping and, you know, just shooting that load kind of attitude. You know, it doesn't really get us nowhere. It's funny, our ancestors back in ancient Kem, the semen, the man of the semen, the women in ancient Kem used to take the semen, they used to rub it on their faces. That's how precious it was, because they knew, they used to rub it on their faces like a cream. You know, because it's full of vitamin E, it's full of potassium, you know, very heavy in vitamins and whatnot. So, you know, they used to take it and they used to utilize it, you know, by putting it on their face. So people say, oh, that's disgusting, you know, kind of thing. You know, but this is what they do in all their sexual rituals. All these European people and all that, you see in the porno movies and stuff and whatnot. That's what they're doing, you know, you see them say, oh, it's nasty. Oh, they know. They know. We're the ones who taught them, you know. And it's no point going around saying, oh, these white people are nasty. Who taught them? It's us. Don't be offended when you see Europeans act in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Because in a sense, they are a reflection of what we are. Because we are the ones who created them. If we're the ones who created them and gave them the sciences what they're going by, okay, fair enough, they perverted it. But we are the ones who taught them all what you understand what I'm trying to say? So the problem is with us. Really and truly, we're the ones that got to clean up. Once we clean up, everyone around us will automatically clean up. You understand what I'm trying to say? So there's no point really getting offended, you know, of what the Europeans doing. Now, I'm gonna try and draw a picture. Something like that. I'm not the best drawer.
It's a white marker.
Something like that. I don't know. Not the best marker, but
What's that meant to be?
I don't know. What do you look like? Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
But okay. I'm trying to do the hips. I'm trying to compliment you black women here. You know what I mean? Just make it a bit bigger. Okay. So I want to deal with the sexual part. With the is that one right better? Okay, that's a bit better. I want to deal with the sexual part region of the female, because the vagina is actually a vortex area. And a vortex, I don't know, have you guys ever seen you know, when a vortex is, you know, the wind, you know, that's what that region actually is. So it's a region that sucks in energy. So when the man penetrates the woman, that's what happens. She's enabled to suck his energy. But there's certain things that you can do through breathing exercises, by eating correctly, also, and certain sexual positions where you can do, where you can get the woman where the male then feels he gets the energy. What's the favorite position of a man? Don't be ashamed.
The back.
Doggy style.
Doggy
Why is
style.
that?
Because there's more penetration.
Close.
He has more control over.
Thank you very much. And that's where he gets energized. A man gets energized when he's at the back. Simply the reason, because the vortex, when a man goes in from the front, it's different. His energies are getting sucked in. Now, when the woman is facing back and the man enters from the rear, he's entering the vortex from the other way around. So he can then attract the energies on the reverse level. That's why the man, he feels, you know, dominant, like, oh yeah, let me get her in that doggy style position and, you know, let's go. So that's the whole point of these sexual positions. You see, they open up certain energy centers within. You understand what I'm trying to say? There's certain, that's why certain positions are good for if you want to impregnate the woman. For instance, doggy style is also a very good style for that also. Because that's what these sexual positions, that's what they're all about. So we have to know how to utilize these energies, especially with our males, because like I said, we give off the semen, which is actually the life force, which is the consciousness. Because what happens is, when a man is ejaculating, or before he ejaculates, what happens is the semen goes up first to the pineal. When the semen goes up to the pineal gland, what it does is it collects information. Being as that we're light beings, when it goes up to the pineal gland, it collects information. Once it's collect that sunlight, the solar, and it comes back down, what's in the semen is actually information, which is the life force. And you shoot that up into the woman. So when you shoot that up into the woman, what happens is it goes, if it's for the, obviously to get her pregnant, whatever, it goes in within her, and obviously it fertilizes the egg. The reason why it fertilizes it is because it's full of certain information, it's full of DNA codes, which allows the semen to go in the egg and make her pregnant. 9 months later, then she gives birth. And that's what that's dealing with. That's where they talk about the story of Lot and Abraham, also in your Bible, about with Lot looking back. That's dealing with actually the sexual patterns of the man before he ejaculates, because the objection really is to ejaculate inwards, so that the man can benefit from the semen. But if he doesn't, and the semen goes back down and it looks back, and then what happened to Lot when she looked back? Turned into a pillar of salt. So that's why when the semen comes out, if you ever look at dry semen, it looks like salt. That's what they're talking. The pillar of salt, the pillar is actually the phallus. That's what that is symbolizing. So, and you look at the semen, you look at colored semen, it looks like salt. You understand? So that's what that energy is actually dealing with. But the objection is really to, apart from maybe if you want children or whatnot, but when a person has obviously passed the age of maybe he's had children, he's a family man or whatever, the objection is to really keep the semen for 12 years. That is when you open up all the 12 centers of the brain. You see, and the trick is for 1 year, for each year, you save. If you was to not to be able to ejaculate for 1 whole year, you save one of the centers in the brain. So you have now 12 centers in the brain. So you need 12 years in order to be able to open the 12 centers of the brain. So if you get the 12 years and the 12 centers of the brain, and you times them by each other, 12 times 12, which is 144, and that's the 144 they talk about in the Bible, being saved. Because in the book of Revelations, when it's talking about opening up the 7 seals and whatnot, it's talking about the 7 chakras. That's what it's dealing with. The whole Bible is based on the human body. So the 7 chakras is actually those 12 seals that they're talking about opening up at the end of days, which is what is now happening. Because we're coming to the end of that cycle, the earth cycle, the end of that Hunabku. The Hunabku is about to hit. So, and you see everybody's kind of waking up kind of thing to whatever, because the chakras are now just, you know, the planets are aligning, and once the planets align, the chakras just start opening up. And that's the 7 seals which they talk about in the Bible. So the objection is to open up the 7 and to be able to save the 144. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that's the science behind about the whole thing about the ejaculation. Now there's certain rituals that the male and female can do. The man, for instance, if he's in a position where he wants to save his semen, there's actually 2 ways he can actually do that. There is one technique, which I'm sure all you lot are aware of, is when you're thrusting in the female and you know you're about to ejaculate, the aim is obviously to slow down, slow your thrust, and then pull back, which is something that I'm sure a lot of men are familiar with. But there's also a lot of also another way of doing it, which is just below the scrotum, just before the man is about to ejaculate. There's a place here you can just take your 2 fingers, and if you push on it, it stops you ejaculating, and it sends the semen back in. You have to be careful, obviously, when you're doing it, because sometimes it can go inside the bladder. Sometimes it ends up inside the bladder or around the kidney region, and you can cause painful effects. Sometimes if it goes in your bladder, when you go to wee, you can actually see it in there. I've experienced it sometimes when I've done it, and you go to urinate, and you can see the semen actually in there. And that's when you know that it went, basically it's kind of gone to waste, because it's gone within the bladder and you just pissed it out. So you've got to do it, you've got to catch it early. You know what I'm saying? That's the objection, to catch it early so it goes back within the system. Now the reason of sexual intercourse is to procreate. But when you say that to the average person, they say, well, procreate, what? Children. That's the first thing to think of. Procreate is anything. You can want to buy a house, or want a job, or establish a business, or procreation means procreation. You want to create something or whatever, you want to make something, you want something to come into action. That is what the whole sexual energy can do. You can utilize it for that. So what happens is, when you and the male and the female are having sex, the objection is, when you are about to, she obviously has to know, and you obviously have to know what it is you're aiming for. And what happens is, when the male and the female are at that point of the ejaculation, when she's about to obviously give off her energy and you're about to give off your energy, you have to be looking in each other's eyes, and then you have to be meditating on what it is that it is you want to come into being. Because what actually happens is, when you actually ejaculate and the woman gives off her energy, you give off your energy, the energies intertwine and they go up in the universe. It's kind of like a frequency. Sets off the negative and positive, energies, and it sends it out into the universe. And by natural law, the universe has to obey. And being it, but that is the most powerful energy going, it obeys it and it delivers. So you can use it for any kind of whatever you want to obtain in life. This is the sciences that the Vatican use it. a lot of deep Freemasons, you hear about all these sexual rituals and all that. That's what they're doing. You get what I'm saying? They're using these sexual energies to their advantage. You know, and we're not, you know, we're still on the, you know, yeah, you know, spooked out by that and whatnot. Yeah, you use it. Our ancestors used to use it. It's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? To saying certain, utilize certain things within or around you, kind of thing.
I was going to say, you know, the actual, it's not actually a gland, you were talking about the perineum, which is...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, yeah. Below the
exercises you can actually mobilise to actually
to strengthen it. Yeah, you can. There's certain exercises the male can do. It's just like you know when you go into a toilet, you wanna wee, and you kind of use your muscles to kind of hold it back. You can kind of do that even though you're not going to the toilet, but you just kind of just use. You know, I'm doing it right now as I'm standing here. Just you know, it's like a contract. It works as like a contraction, and it strengthens the muscles over a period of time, and after a while it becomes, you know, like second nature. When when you're having sex with your woman, or you know, when you know, when they ejaculate, you can just, you know, you won't need to sort of like be putting your hand down there and whatnot. You can just pull it back, and you know, it will go back in, and then you will feel refreshed. You won't feel as knackered. You get what I'm saying? Because it's not the sex that knackers you out; it's actually the ejaculation. You know, it's actually the ejaculation. That's why you notice they tell athletes as well before a contest, they tell them, no, you know, in my days when I used to box, they used to tell them, no sex before a fight, or, you know, and athletes, they always tell them, no sex, because it's the ejaculation. It's not the actual humping, and, you know, that's actually good for you. You know, you get the exercise from that. But when you shoot your life force, you know, and you have to also know how to, one of the best ways to kind of get it back, because you lose a lot of selenium and zinc through ejaculation. The best ways to replenish it is pumpkin seeds. Sunflower seeds also very good. You get what I'm saying? You eat a lot of bananas also. You've got good potassium sources in bananas. You know, stuff like that. A lot of iron. Eat a lot of green bananas to, you know, to kind of replenish that. You know, to get that back. So it's not actually the sex, like I said. It's the ejaculation. Our ancestors in ancient Chem, the men actually never used to ejaculate during the winter season. It was only during the summer. Spring and summer was the times when they would ejaculate, and in the winter they would not. You know what I mean? Because it just strips the life force. You get what I'm saying? I suppose by doing that you would get a lot of people who they were born roughly around the same time, because everyone was kind of ejaculating around that time. So, but not that it was a problem, but during the winter season, they would not participate in you know, during the cooler season. I know a lot of you might have been to Egypt before, and I know it is very hot all year round, regardless, even in their winter season. But it's still you know, it was you know, they went by seasons. You understand what I'm trying to say? And when it was the cooler times, you know, they knew what to, because the Egypt that you see there today wasn't always like that. It was, trust me, though it was flourishing with rainforest, trees and everything. You know what I mean? I know you go there now, you see desert, and people think that's how it always was. It wasn't like that. The cause of was after the War of Atlantis. That's what caused that. The radiation. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's due to the radiation. That's when, after the fall, is the radiation from the nuclear energy. That's what made it like that. Because once nuclear energy hits a place, that's what it does. It kills off all kind of maybe crops or that kind of life force around. So it wasn't always like that. So during the cooler seasons, the men would not ejaculate. It would only be in the spring and in the summer. I think during the spring it was like twice a month or something like that, twice a week. And then maybe it was twice a week, and then it upped in the summer to maybe 3 times a week. And then during the winter, then they would, but they were still having sex. You understand what I'm trying to say? It didn't stop them from having sex, but you know, the ejaculation, like I said, sex is one thing, ejaculation is another.
Some would say like ejaculation is the best part of sex.
They would say that. Well, that's what I say. You still get the sensation to a certain degree. If you've got to master it. Once you master it, you still get the sensation, because you're still ejaculating, but you're just reversing it inwards. So it's kind of turning instead of you just letting it out. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you still kind of get that feel of the. I know the man likes the He needs that sensation. I know what it's like. We all know, old men in here know what it's like. When during sex, you need to shoot that load. It's like, it's not complete. You understand what I'm trying to say? But you still get kind of that sensation. It's not, it's not a dramatic problem, kind of thing. So basically, that's dealing with obviously the sexual energies of the man, of not just wasting it. You understand what I'm trying to say? And if it is a thing where, you ladies as well, if it is a thing where the man does, ejaculate, you can use it. Don't feel horrified or, pick it up and rub it on yourself. You know.
I was studying that if, say, like when you have a cold or you're not feeling too well,
Yeah.
and your immune system is low,
Yeah.
that would be the best time because the woman's body absorbs the nutrients
That's
inside
right.
her womb.
Right.
And basically, that's how you would use the energy.
Energy. That's right.
Downwards.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Because it's all energy at the end of the day.
Rubbing.
Oh yeah, you can go. You could.
Absorbing the energy.
Yeah.
Containing it in.
It's the same thing. It don't matter if it goes on the outer or whether it goes on the inner. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's all energy at the end of the day. It's full of nutrients. It's full of proteins and vitamin E. You understand what I'm trying to say? So it's a lot of these creams that they're selling out there. Why do you think it looks like that? It looks like semen. Yeah, it's just a watered down version. That's where they're getting it from. They're getting it from all these animals and they're extracting all the. Yeah, that's where they're getting it from. That's what it is. It's semen. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's just a watered down version. For instance, our ancestors in the land of Kem, when they used to, their semen, if we was to cut out the lights and they would hold their semen in their hand, it used to glow in the dark. It used to glow like a green colour or blue colour. That's how powerful, because it was, that's when you had the pure, it was back in the days when they had the pure stuff. You know what I mean? Full of the nutrients and the energies that is meant to, potassium and whatnot, that's meant to be in there. It was full of that. So you could even literally cut out the lights and hold the semen in your hand and it would glow. Kind of thing. But now it's kind of watered down, and it looks more that milky colour. But it's actually not even white anyway. A lot of people say it's white, but it's not. It looks like a brownish colour anyway when you look at it closely anyway. You understand what I'm trying to say? But basically it's energies, and you just have to know how to utilise, eat the right foods. Food is also another thing that replenishes, there's also breathing exercises, you understand, that you can do that, work the organs that are beneficial to the organs within the reproductive organs. You get what I'm saying? Because one of the highest diseases that is killing us as black people off right about now is actually prostate cancer. The men, anyway. There's a high number of black men now dying of prostate cancer. And it's not because of the sex, it's because of the foods they're eating. The mucus, all these dairy products and whatnot, all this meat, especially meat over here for that matter. If it was back home in, on the Caribbean or the West Indies, it's not so bad. Over here, you've got all this processed food and whatnot. You don't know how long they've killed some of these animals. You know what I'm saying? They're feeding them God knows what. And then what happens is, we eat these foods, and where does it sit? It sits right here. Right, it just stays there. You just can't clear it. And that's why after, a period of time when the organs are trying to, just get it out, and they can't get it out, the system breaks down. Now you've got prostate cancer. So these are the kind of things that we should be aware of. So it's not actually the sex. They tried to cook up something that it was about too much sex. That was causing it, but that's a different agenda. They're trying to, cut down on the black population. That's why they're coming up with all these statistics and whatnot. So like I said, you have to be careful also of what it is that you're putting into your system. Breathing correctly. If you guys know good yogis, yoga, go to, practice your yoga, practice your breathing exercises. Very good for the system and the reproductive organs. You understand what I'm trying to say? How much time we got, sister? If you don't mind me asking? An hour? 2 hours? No, because I want to bring on the elders.
It's 9:45.
9?
It's 9:45. So
9:45. Okay. Is there any questions so far? Yeah, go ahead.
Question. You're talking about the ways to keep the sperm in,
Right.
and as far as it going, raising it back up to the pineal gland.
Yeah.
Is that automatically? Are you saying that if you do those practices, whether it's through the perineum or vice versa, that the sperm goes right back up to the pineal gland? Or is it a practice?
No, it's a practice that we need to do. We need to through meditation practices, through raising the Kundalini. When you raise the Kundalini, that's what it takes that energy of the semen, because they're both polarities. It's the same energy. It's the same fight energy. It's the same creative energy that creates up here, that creates down there. It's exactly the same energy. So basically, through raising that Kundalini, you're using that semen, that reproductive energy, to channel the energy back to save one of the 12 centers within the brain. So it's not just a thing where you're just saving the semen and then you're not doing nothing. You're thinking, I'm saving. No, you still have to channel it. Obviously, channel it back up. Visualization, imagination and stuff like that. Just raising. If you're raising Kundalini anyway, it will. That's the energy that's using. It's using that creative force, that creative energy. And it's channeling it up there, and it's opening up the brain centers.
What's the Kundalini?
Kundalini is actually it's a Sanskrit word, and it actually means they call it the sleeping serpent. It's actually basically it's energy, and it sits at the base of your spine, just at the rock here. And it's the reason why they use the serpent is because the way it kind of that's how energy travels. It kind of travels like that. So it kind of travels like in a serpent. I don't know if you ever watch the ambulances. You see them with the Kundalini. They've got this, this stick, and they've got the serpent, going up it, which symbolizes life force. Basically, raising up that energies and passing them through the chakras, opening up the chakras, and raising up to the, to the cave of Brahma. But they call it the sleeping serpent, but it's in the way that it travels. That's why they refer to it as the serpent energy. And you see the ancient pharaohs, when they used to have the thing, and they had the cobra, the serpent on the front of their head, and that's what that symbolized. Symbolized, Kundalini.
I was just going to add, just to add a point that applying it, say like actually helps to nourish the brain cells in certain areas of the brain, just to refresh yourself, because it actually nourishes the cells, the neurons.
That's right.
And the cells within the brain. So if we want to procreate a child, we can actually bring a child down that's got those so-called abilities. Instead of training, the child's already got its third eye, so to speak, awoken.
Right.
Instead of us now reaching 30s and 40s and 50s and then trying to catch up with things that we should have known. So that's another reason why to raise that because it's energy, raising it up. Because because even when a man's shooting off his semen, for instance, he uses a lot of water, he uses a lot of fluid, brain fluid, while he's actually doing that. That's why you see a lot of men who have continuous section, they're never too right up there. That's where they they're never too right. They can never, they can't think straight. You know what I'm saying? Because they're constantly shooting their load and just losing the fluids. So it's all about, like I said, retaining that life force. You get what I'm saying? And it's okay saying that, I eat right and all that, and it's not quite the same. Yes, it does replenish it, but it's not as good as the original. You get what I'm saying? Once you in a sense, energy is never destroyed anyway, it's only transformed. But it's never kind of the same when you lose it. Especially with this crap foods that they've got out here, these days, you know what I'm saying? It's not replenishing the cells really, the way, the way it should be. You get what I'm saying? That's why if you look at people maybe on the continent or Caribbean, where they're eating a lot more fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, and you see their lifestyle, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that, there's a difference. You know what I'm saying? The men of the Caribbean and Africa, they age different. You get what I'm saying? You see men over here, 50, they've already got the walking stick and, they're stumbling down the road, and you got men of 90 years old.
you know, back on the continent or whatever, they're hopping around like no tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You're asking me, yeah, I've got 50 children, not a problem. You know what I'm saying? You know, so things like that.
Isn't the difficulty to try to get to the stage of getting to the Kundalini, and that is that one, many people just don't know anybody that they can go to.
Yeah, that's one.
To think about it. Two, you possibly have to go through books. Three, because of our upbringing, where a lot of our parents didn't talk about sex, a lot of us are still very prudish.
Prudish about
I think another reason also, I think people watch I'm generalising here. But a lot of brothers watch a lot of the sex, the pornography, and get ideas from that. And the other thing is to get to the stage, to get to tantric sex, and that you. Obviously, the best way is to find somebody that is on your
that
level.
that is on your path, which is very hard. Yeah,
which
I mean,
is-
it's a number of things, a collaboration of
There's a
different
lot of-
things that, you know, things that we're exposed to. We're not exposed to the right information, you know. So, you know, it's a combination of everything that, you know, kind of thing. But books are not quite the same. I'm not saying don't read, because you do get a lot of information. You get what I'm saying? And there is different techniques. People, I might have a technique of the way I do my thing, you might have a technique the way you do your thing, but the goal is the same, and we work towards it, and it can still work. So sometimes a lot of people who write these books, who have actually practiced it, they're telling you what to do based on how they did it. You understand? And that might work for them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will work for you. You see? So obviously you've got to obviously also find your way. You get what I'm saying? So don't think, because a lot of people get disheartened. I know I used to, when I used to buy the books back in the days and try the things that I was reading in the books. I'm like, man, it's not working. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not working. I've been skanked or whatever. And it's not that. You know, it's later on and I find that, well, it worked for the person who ever wrote the book. You know? And it's also another thing with the book thing, there's a lot of agents out there right now. A lot of their people that are writing the books as well. This new age, try not to get caught up in this new age bullcrap. There's a lot of their agents that are in there that are putting out these information, but they're doing it on purpose. What they're actually doing is they're putting out certain information that actually reverse the energy. So they work against us. So you buy these new age books and you think, yeah, you know what I mean, I'm getting spiritual, but it's you know, spiritual is just the energy, it's the transformation of energy, and the energy is just it's working against, you know. So you've got to be very, very careful of these, you know. The best thing I would advise how to do is just try and get books more on the ancients. If you wanted to know about, you know, get the what you call it, the sex book, Kama Sutra, but the original one. These Europeans have got one that's watered down. Don't go near that. You open up these books and see these Europeans trying all these positions and whatnot, and you know, try and get the proper. You know what I'm saying? If you can even go to India or those places and get the pictures off the walls, you see it. You know what I'm saying? You see you know what I'm saying? The pictures there.
I'll suggest a good book.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a book out by this Oriental guy. His name is Mantak Chia. Some of the books, there's one's called Cultivating Male Sexual Energy. Another book is called Cultivating Female Sexual Energy. Those are quite good books.
Yeah.
It covers some of the stuff you're talking about.
No problem, man. We'll find it.
Mantak, M-A-T. M-A-T.
Everyone's writing that down.
A-K-C-H-I-A.
C-H-I-A.
Cultivating Male Sexual Energy.
What you can get that from, like,
It's like Watkins and all them
You
places.
can order that over the internet,
I think Watkins would have that, innit?
yeah. Watkins, you can even get,
Mysteries
that
or
in
whatever.
most books.
So you, like I said, you have to be careful of these new age people as well, you know, because they're also out to get us. You get what I'm saying? It's estimated about 8 out of every 9 authors in the new age thing are government agents. 8 out of 10, and that's a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Like David Icke, yeah?
He's one of their boys.
Yeah.
He's one of their boys. Don't. I mean, not to be trusted. But don't get me wrong, he does put out certain information that, you know, it's all, you have to remember, good and bad is in everything. So you have to know how to cultivate, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you have to know how to extract certain good things, and you know, because he talks a lot of truth and bullshit at the same time, and he mixes it all up. You get what I'm saying? So you got to know how to take sense from nonsense, basically, with David Icke, and that's what he's about. So you got to know how to just extract the truth and just, you know, brush the rice, you know. But he's one of their boys. He's one of their boys. You know, he's one of their boys. He's just one of their agents. What he does, he goes out there and fields, you know, he puts out the information, and it's whoever warms towards him. So he goes back to their people and says, well, he knows rare, and he knows who, he knows what. And if he knows too much, yeah, get rid of him. Get rid of him. So he's their boy. You know, he's their boy all along. As he used to work for the BBC or something like that. One of their boy through and through. Not to be trusted. You know, but you read his books. You know what I'm saying? If you can afford them or whatever, you know, you put something, you know, you know, you can read his books. You know what I mean? I've got a couple of his books at home. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's taking sense out of nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Any more questions? Don't be shy. Anyone before we bring on the elder? I know you don't want to ask questions.
Anyway, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was late still. Can you tell me what is that? The body.
Yeah, no, I was just talking about the female body. Don't look like much of a female, not the one you would go for. But I was just talking about the female body, the vagina area being it's actually a vortex area.
Oh, I see.
You get what I'm saying? The vagina is a vortex area, and I was just talking about when men having sex with women. That is why a lot of the times after the sex session, they want to go to sleep, or they feel very much drained. You know what I'm saying? So I was talking about there's certain sexual positions you can get your woman in, where you the one, you know, get the energy, and she's the one, you know, she feels a bit down, like the doggy style, for instance. You know, that's why the doggy style is one of the man's favorite position, because he gets energized there. He doesn't realize it, you know, but he, you know, gets the power, because the vortex is now reversed. So you're getting the energy from the other side now. So because the energy is coming through, so it's going in like that. So when you turn her around, then you're then pulling the energy from behind her. You know what I'm saying? And there's also other ways where you can, if you're going to be, you know, doing the quote unquote missionary position, there's certain breathing exercises you can do. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, you don't feel as drained after you have, you know, given off that life force, because that's what semen actually is. Yeah. It's actually, you know, it's the life force. Yeah. Any more questions?
Alright, just one question.
Go ahead.
You got people out here that don't know the information like what we're talking about, in the sense of Kundalini energies and all the rest of it. And these people are on good diets. They might not have sex much, but you can't tell them anything outside of the Bible. That's the only thing they understand.
That's right.
So if they've got a good diet, if they're not having sex regularly, then how comes the Kundalini energy ain't going to their pineal gland?
Because it's not just about diet. Diet's one thing. There's many things that, do you get what I'm saying? That you know, it's like saying, I want to make a car, and I've got a scrap load of iron, and that's going to be it. You know, it's going to be different things. I need rubber for the tires, and this for that, and plastic for this, and you know what I'm saying. So it's a number of different things. You know, do you get what I'm saying? A compilation of different things that make that. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that eat right out there. You get what I'm saying? You know, a lot of Hindus and whatnot. You know, Christians as well. Don't eat meat. Don't dairy. But it doesn't mean they can still be. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because it's a number of different things that will utilize that energy, that will make them open up. You know what I'm saying? The DNA codes. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them, they will wake up anyway when it's time. You get what I'm saying? It just takes off certain DNA codes to start exploding within them, and it's like, whoa, that don't seem right, and that don't. You get what I'm saying? And bit by bit, everything just starts. You know what I'm saying? Just starts falling into place. You get what I'm saying? You know.
Just,
yeah, go ahead.
you know, you mentioned about the 12
Centers of the brain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you see, you have to like keep away for over 12 years.
Yeah. That's the science.
Oh.
No, that is the science. If you want to basically to open up the 12 centers of the brain, that's what you're gonna have to go for.
But what if, say for example, you try and it doesn't happen, and is there another way of opening up the centers apart from?
It's the only way I know.
No, yeah, but does that mean that's the only way, though?
Well, yeah.
So you don't. Oh.
You seem disappointed. You seem disappointed. Well, you want to try another way?
It takes that there'll be a lot of mastery, didn't it? I mean, yeah.
Well,
yeah, 12 months. Yeah, as someone says.
Yeah, well, basically that is the science. It's
So, I mean, no. So even when
you can be having sex, you can be sexing. I don't care if you can be sexing 12 times a day. It's the ejaculation that counts.
But let me ask you this then, because there's a time when if you're not like say sexually active and stuff like that, then what then happens? I mean, I don't know who's familiar with the term like wet dream. You've got like you know the term wet dream.
Yeah.
Where it's like you've got so much in the body, it still comes out.
Yeah.
So I mean,
what causes a wet dream though?
well, as I say, it's lack of.
It's the perversion, isn't it?
No.
You don't think so?
No, because when you're like a youth, when you're small, when you're young.
Yeah.
And, no,
I'm not talking at those ages.
No, well,
Because
even
that science that I quoted will be more for the quote unquote older generation. You're talking, you know.
Yeah, but still, still does happen still. Even if for a while nothing happens, like.
Because you're still sexually active. No one's saying that you shouldn't be having sex.
No, it's not imagination. But let me. I can tell you from personal experience. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough.
Just, if it don't, what then happens? And my only explanation for that is that, oh yeah, because of course you got the dream, innit?
Right.
You got a dream and that's it. It don't just happen just like that.
But you can control your dreams. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, no, but, yeah. But what I'm saying, it does happen.
You can control your dreams. You know that.
I just wanted to clarify. There's also something that I picked up recently that was stating that, like the dreaming and having wet dreams was also part of like astral beings and different entities taking advantage of in your dream, like in your dreams.
Okay.
And, you may be. It's just a theory, a concept. As far as when you're dreaming, there's entities that kind of take advantage of your, say, weaknesses, for lack of a word, where if that's your drive, and then.
But that means that the person obviously is not in control, then, isn't it? It's someone else in control.
Not something.
What I'm trying to say is that
my understanding is that these beings are inside of you, though. They're part of you. It's part of yourself. It's
right, which is fine. So it's the objection obviously then will be to take control of yourself. So because they're inside of you and you're the governor, so you should be the one calling the shots of these energies that are within you. So it would be if that is the case, then obviously it's because of the ignorance of the person that is happening to. They don't know how to obviously control the energies within them, and that's why it's okay for this other entity within to override that and to be able to utilize that within them. You know.
So I'm going to make a comment on
the
same thing as mine.
Yeah.
You said that in order to open the pineal gland, obviously you can do it one way, which is 12 years.
Yeah.
So, not abstain from sex, but don't ejaculate.
Yeah.
Right. So how about whatever, I don't know, drugs? You get mescaline, you get peyote, you get sensimine. I mean, how about that way?
I'd say stay away from it.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, would you acknowledge that as another method as well?
Oh yeah. I spoke in the last lecture. I was speaking about how our ancient ancestors, like the drugs, the marijuana and whatnot, they used to use that to cross over into the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Because actually, I was explaining in the last lecture that the brain is actually it's two hemispheres. You have the left side and the right brain. Now the right brain, they say that's why the scientists say we only use 10% of our brain. Which is actually correct, 10% of the left hemisphere. They're not talking about the right brain hemisphere. The right 90% left hemisphere, we're not even tapping into that. So what used to happen was after the fall of Atlantis, our ancestors, because they didn't have that, because of the radiation, the nuclear radiation, it was messing the people up. So what the priests then used to do was that's when they went to the plants and the herbs, because prior to that we wasn't even eating. We were breatharians. You understand what I'm saying? We were getting straight from the solar. That's right. We was getting, so after the fall, when the whole system started to mess up, now we started to go to the plants, to the herbs. Do you get what I'm saying? So the high priest then used to take the marijuana and they used to smoke it. But they wouldn't smoke it every day the way people are smoking it nowadays. It was only in certain rituals. And it used to help them tap into the 90% to get what it is they wanted to get. But it came with a price. And the price is memory loss. So that's why they wouldn't do it every day. It was only now and again. They wanted to grab a certain information within that 90% of the spiritual realm, and they'd grab it, and once they came back with it, you know, they wrote what it is, you know, wrote it down in the papyrus or whatever, and that was that. And you know, he would have to rest and whatnot, you know, after that. So yes, you can use it. You can use it because drugs do open up that. You know, you hear the Rastafarians talk about it a lot. They say, oh, you know, smoke the marijuana and opens up the chambers, and yes, it does open up the chambers. No doubt about it. What chambers is it opening up, and what are you doing when they're opened? Do you get what I'm saying? Because these people are, you know what I'm saying? And I said in the last lecture, a lot of these, that's why you always look at musicians. All the top musicians always smoke drugs. All of them. Whether it's cocaine or marijuana, it don't matter. They're all on it. Because that's when they're the most creative. Before they come on stage, they've got to take, you know, then they go on stage. And you see them and they'll perform like no other. As soon as the drugs wear off, they're just back to, you know what I mean, what's going on? They've got to, and they've constantly, but what happens is they need it because it's a constant stimulant, and they have to keep on taking it. And that's where the addiction comes in. You get what I'm saying? So unless one knows what they're doing, I would not actually, you know, advise it. Even like aphrodisiacs, for instance, that's what they do. They open up, they trigger up that, you know, that stimulant, you know, opening up that pineal gland. I think a good one to take is Yohimbi. Yohimbi. I don't know if you guys heard of Yohimbi, Bob. Yeah. It's YOHIMBE. Yohimbi bar. It's actually banned. They've actually banned it. Yes, banned. Yes, yeah. They've actually banned it because they knew what it could do. Brothers were taking it and it was opening up that. So they had to say, hey, listen. You know,
What is it like? What is it?
Well, when they used to sell it over here, it used to come in like a tablet form, but it actually comes off a bark. It comes from the continent, but if you got it in its purest form, it kind of looked like a bark kind of substance. Kind of, you could chew it, or you could boil it like a tea kind of thing and drink it or whatever. You know.
The one that you see the Samoanian chew.
No. That's for the teeth. That's for the teeth, the brushing teeth. I think that's which one is he talking about?
That one where they chew.
Cat. Ah, you're talking that? No. Yeah, that's it. It just it's like a caffeine kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's you see it as well with the I don't know if you know like cola nuts. I spoke last time about cola nuts as well. That's what cola nuts actually do as well. They kind of stimulate, keep you awake, kind of thing. Kind of work like a caffeine effect. Yeah. Kind of, you know, like the Red Bull and stuff like that. It kind of has that effect on you. But the Yohimbi actually opens up. Yeah, stimulates that as well.
Said the 90% of the right hemisphere.
It's the right hemisphere. That's what it's right. Because you've got two brains, and you've got the right hemisphere actually deals with spirituality, intuition, music, anything creative on that realm. That's what the 90% deals with. But the rest, 10%, the left hemisphere deals with actually logical thinking, materialistic, and that's what we use in our day-to-day life. Everything's got to be things that we've got to be able to, you know, comprehend with. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I was even saying in the last lecture. When you go to like certain spiritualists, for instance, and you know they say they're doing a reading, you know, kind of thing. What they're actually doing is they're actually getting the information. It's coming from right brain hemisphere. Now they've got to transfer that information that they've got into the left brain, into the logical, so they can give it to you. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because when a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people have been to readers and they give you the information and you're like, oh, well, tell me more and tell me more. It's not actually that easy, because the information that's coming by, the person has to maybe reconstruct that. You understand what I'm trying to say? And they might say to you, oh, you might be, you know, you're going to be getting a new car or something like that. Don't think that there is something else that they saw, that they interpretate So to know that it's actually a vehicle, what it is that you're gonna get. You understand what I'm trying to say? So even with the readings, that's why reading is a very it's a very delicate job. You get what I'm saying? Because some people readers do misinterpret what it is. You know, transferring that, you know, into the left brain hemisphere to make it logical so that the person who's come for the reading obviously understands what it is he or she is saying.
As a brother, how can you like go with what ejaculating? What can you do?
What?
Like to not make it ejaculate.
I think I spoke about that before you guys came. Basically, I was talking about the certain exercises. There's a couple. You know, like when you go into the toilet, and you know, you want to pee, you're desperate. There's no toilet around, and you kind of hold it. There's a muscle that you keep pulling so that it stops you from weeing. Basically, if you just keep practicing and just pulling the muscle, contracting it, you know, that is one way, because it's actually that muscle that actually stops the the ejaculation process. But there's also another way where, you know, if you're having sex with a woman, just before you come, you can just use your 2 fingers and just below the scrotum area, you push up. I think he mentioned the perineum. That's it. You just press it or you push it up, kind of thing, and it stops you from ejaculating, and it reverses back inwards. But I was saying you got to get it early. You know, there's a point where they call the point of no return. You know, when you reach that point there, you know. I know if you brothers want to try it, you don't get me wrong. You're gonna, I can guarantee you, 9 out of 10 of you'll lose it the first time, 3rd and 4th time.